Well, hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Eevee'sCliché here, doing some Marvel Contest of Champions. Now, we're gonna be starting a new series today, the one that I spoke about on the last video, how to, and in this particular video we're gonna be talking about how to Karnak. Now, you know, besides the fact that Karnak's a pretty good prestige character for most of us, you know, being about 9 points less than that of Gwenpool's, and Gwenpool is currently the number 1 out of the skill champions. Karnak just falls 9 below, being level 99, of course, ranking at about 4,612 in the prestige chart. Now, besides the fact of all that goodness there, I want to talk about my boy Karnak in a little bit more in depth. You know, I feel like a lot of people really have not tapped into what this guy has to offer. I don't know if that's just me, or maybe people are just like, you know, preoccupied with other characters that may have seemed a little bit more interesting. Who knows? But what I do know is that I went ahead and did some homework on this character, and I found out that this guy is another one of those characters that can just obliterate Spider-Man and just you know, just make him look stupid in case you don't happen to have a duped Black Widow or, I don't know, a Crossbone. So if you were wondering on how to get through, you know, this character, how to get through Alliance War and Alliance Quest with this character, then I will, you know, this is a video for you, and I'm gonna go ahead and dig in through why you should be ranking up this character and why you should be, you know, even considering using him and making him your main, besides the fact, you know, prestige reasons, of course. But I feel like a lot of people overlooked his capability, so let's go ahead and dig into it. So starting off, first of all, let's go ahead and talk about his let's talk about his passive special, okay, his Waken ability, which I don't want to really dig into it because let's just say that not a lot of people might have this character dupe, and this is more for the newer folks that have just received a Karnak and don't even have a, you know, Black Widow duped, because of course we all know that Black Widow is outstanding in that when it comes against reducing defensive abilities, or even you know, not allowing other characters to trigger their abilities. But let's talk about second tower training just a little bit, just quick. So of course we know by the description that, you know, this character, and you're probably reading the description right now, this character allows non-damaging debuff effects to be shrugged off a lot faster depending on your dupe level, and that's based on a percentage. So it does reduce the damage of poison damage by 65% in addition to that. So of course when you're getting dealt, you know, poison damage from Abomination or any of those characters that deal poison, instead of, let's say, dealing I don't know, 100% damage, let's just keep it in a larger base to make you know, percentages a little bit more simple as I'm describing it to you. You're only gonna be receiving 45 of that damage. So so instead of receiving 100% damage, you just, or 100 damage, let's say, per tick, you're only gonna be receiving 45 per tick. Okay, so that's that portion. But now non-damaging debuff effects, you guys may be wondering what is that all about, and I do have a couple that I've been able to, you know, look into, and you know, these debuffs that are gonna be shrugged off a lot faster will be that of, you know, concussion, and a lot of characters that deal concussion will be Cable, Quake, stuff like that, or characters like those. We have exhaustion, you know, dealt by Luke Cage and, you know, other characters. We also have fatigue. We know that Ant-Man does this you know, very well. He inflicts fatigue and then transform it into poison. So, you know, if you have a Karnak and you're going against a very, you know, heavy Ant-Man in Alliance War, and you accidentally take a hit from the SP2, you won't be taking a lot of damage from that due to his Waken ability here in poison, being, you know, dealing only 65, reducing the poison by 65%. So that's pretty neat there against an Ant-Man. and Ant-Man. Of course, we do have a healed block. A healed block is also one of those, only the ones that have timers, of course, and those are dealt by Visions and Divisions and Civil Warriors. So you kind of want to, you know, your Awaken ability will take care of that a lot faster depending on your dupe ability. And of course, we have the famous stuns. A lot of the stun when you're, you know, facing Alliance War defenders there. A lot of them do have great the capability of stun. Of course, everybody has parry, so of course you're going to be dealing with that a lot, and you don't want to get caught off guard by one of those. And you know, just being able to shrug it off a little bit quicker might save you from, you know, having to take a full combo to the face. Of course, allowing you to counter attack with another parry. So I think it's pretty neat. So we also have weakness. Of course, weakness I believe is also dealt by characters like Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and I think it's just Spider-Man. Luke Cage is just exhaustion. It might be weakness, but it's most likely Spider-Man, the main one with weakness. We also have, you know, all the Spider-Mans usually deal weakness. So basically anything that has a timer and does not damage. The only one that does not fall in this category for these shrug offs will be Yellow Jacket, like its power sting. Unfortunately, it's not classified as a debuff, so just take that in mind. But yeah, so I'm actually gonna be showing you a couple of examples of how to deal with Spider-Man, because we are gonna be jumping on to the next part here. So passive, the first passive here gives given to the study of the opponent, Karnak becomes more focused, gaining about 4,250 critical rating. Whenever he's struck, Karnak does lose his focus for about 9 seconds. So just want to say about this portion here, you most likely won't want to get hit, of course, because this right here, in combination with its special attack too, it's L2, it deals a ton of damage. I'm talking about like 5,000, 6,000, sometimes depending on your crit rating or crit damage, depending who you pair your Karnak with. It does outstanding damage upon doing your SP2. So yeah, this passive ability, I wouldn't take it for granted. Of course, a skilled player that does play with Karnak shouldn't be getting hit most of the times unless you get caught off guard. But yeah, just something you want to keep in mind. So another thing that you want to take in mind with this passive ability, the first one, is that Karnak does have a 597.4 increased physical resistance, and I think that's freaking amazing, to be honest. A lot of the hits that you will encounter, especially those against your class disadvantage, will decrease drastically upon being you know, hit physically. So that's really good. I mean, something that you kind of would notice. I don't think that it's something that I noticed that much. Only place I noticed it was in Alliance Quest, when I get caught off guard and a full combo doesn't take that much damage. So just something to take in mind. So its second passive, I think, is the best one in my opinion. So every 5 seconds, Karnak reduces his class disadvantage by 2% until it's gone. So this is really just against those long battles, against, like, I don't know, Cyclops, or, you know, an Alliance Quest or Alliance War, you know, some heavies, Cyclops, you know, being the mini boss, or in Alliance War dealing with some of those, you know, night crawlers and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just, I think it's amazing, because take in mind that class disadvantage does decrease your PI, which is your power index, and of course it doesn't allow you to do much damage against those, not the same amount of damage that you would do against a regular you know, a balanced class, you know, something that's like, you know, not advantage over, like, for example, you know, being a Karnak skill champion, fighting a tech, fighting a mystic, stuff like that. So, you know, you're gonna be actually recovering from that disadvantage every 5 seconds. So this only, I mean, it's not a great, like, OMG freaking overpowered ability, but I think is really neat, because those long battles, it really comes in handy, and you'll see the damage increase in every 5 seconds upon striking. So jumping on to SP1 now, so or L1, of course. So his level 1, I think it's the Spider-Man killer, and I'll show you in a bit what I'm talking about. So of course, the SP1, if you guys have not, don't you know, especially for the new players, are not very familiar with True Strike. So True Strike allows you to ignore armor rating, resistances, and evasion. So anybody that has like armor ups or any type of physical resistances or energy resistance or any type of that crap, and evasion is the most important one that here has to do. This is the key component to defeating the Spider-Man. Now take in mind it only runs for a timer for about 8.5 seconds. So you know, you might want to time your hits and so on and so forth, but I'll show you a video on a small little clip on how to take Spider-Man with the SP1 only. I love the combination of this character's L1 and the L3. I think it's destructive, but let's get to it here. On SP2 now, attack rating increases up to 588 based on how low the opponent's health is at the time of impact. Very important. This attack, you don't want to use it, you know. I think this is the finisher move, to be honest. It's not, you know, it's just the destroyer. You would see the amount of damage this thing does against tanks. It is ridiculous, especially with your first passive being that of your critical rating being 4,250. Of course, a lot of us after the 12.0 update are not very familiar with these whole ratings and how it's all, like, you know, valued into non-percentages and more of flat values. You know, it can get a little bit confusing and a bit, you know, overwhelming, but the fact is, numbers don't lie. Once you strike, you will see the damage that I'm talking about. It's amazing. So SP3, oh, SP3, his L3, Karnak's L3 is just something interesting. I will say this is more applicable to Alliance Quest and Alliance War once again, and of course these videos are how to these characters are more in depth based on these characters that will be usable or very critical and underrated used in Alliance Quest and Alliance War. So Karnak does counter the following characters, I believe, in upon using the SP3, because the SP3 does inflict what's called a daze. Okay, so this daze reduces defensive ability accuracy by 80% for about 40 seconds. Now 40 seconds is a long time, and 80%, it is quite the number. It's pretty high. I tested it out. It's not as, you know, don't be fooled thinking that this is 100% accurate, because it's not. So just be cautious when you're using the SP3, but on these long battles it is very helpful. Meanwhile, you're trying to build up your SP1, because in combination of those two, you just shut down your opponent. You're just destructive. But the following characters are shut down by this. So I do have an Ultron Regens, or any of the you know, Iron Man suits that regen, that is shut down by 80%. So once you are going against them in Alliance War, and you know, they seem to regen their first round, you know, once it reaches 50%, Ultron likes to regen. Then after it reaches about 25% low in health, he does his second regen. So to just finish that off and to shut it down, just do an SP3 or your L3, of course, whichever you reference it. And of course, you have an 80% chance to reduce his defensive ability, or reduce the activation of his regen, or any of those armor ups that he gets at the very end. So I think it's very critical for you guys to take in mind that this is a great option. Of course, your SP1 will not allow him to evade, so if that's also a thing that you know, you're having to deal with while you're hitting them, SP1 reduces that. And of course, any armor ups that he may get in between, it's also ignored by your True Strike. So take that in mind. Of course, Spider-Man, you will love what I have in store for you. I'll show you a clip of that. You just have to be careful with his Spider-Man's L1. You might want to practice, if you don't have the practice, for those new players, on how to evade, because in, you know, just having the passive ability of increasing your critical rating and then having your True Strike on is just amazing. So another character that it could potentially you know, counter, we have we do have Unstoppable Colossus and Juggernaut's Unstoppable. So those we do know that Magneto does a great job against them with Magnetize, and of course this is the same idea. So of course, upon dazing your opponent on those long battles, and of course you guys know that these again are applicable only in Alliance Quest and Alliance War due to the fact that those are longer battles. Reaching your L3 will reduce their unstoppable triggers, allowing you to just go ahead and keep hitting them and, you know, building up to your SP1, then finish that off as well with the fact that you have True Strike. So other than that, we also have vision power gains. So the vision power gains, of course, that's also reduced by 80%. So the chances of them gaining those, of course, we know that in Alliance Quest, those characters are bothering some, especially on map 5 and map 6. We have Magic's Limbo. So we know that Magic, upon getting her power bars, you know, L1, L2, and of course upon activation, she does get Limbo. So Limbo does reduce your HP upon activation, and of course her attacks increase, and then any damage that she takes during Limbo is restored again after the Limbo expires. So this Daze does allow you to go ahead and negate that effect by 80% once again, and I think that's quite neat. We also have Wolverines and X23 regens, and I just want to put it out there, any character that has regens will be shut down by this L3. I'm just going in depth, so you know, kind of giving you the list of characters that you might want to consider when you're going against them. You know, it just gives you a better matchup. You know, it makes you think like, you know, this might be Karnak, so you know, Karnak could take them on or not. You know, looking at the health and all that stuff, it doesn't benefit you using Karnak, because unfortunately Karnak, you know, like Black Widow and Crossbones do not regen, so you might want to use Karnak wisely. So yeah, just letting you know there. Of course, overall it also shuts down parries, any parries that your opponent may inflict on you. It does have an 80% chance to you know, decrease that defensive ability accuracy, and of course we know that evades, once again, any evade. So yep, so you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and show you a clip of what I'm talking about against Spider-Man, because we all know how annoying Spider-Man is and how troublesome he can be. So let's go ahead and jump right to it. Alright, so for this example, we're gonna be going against this Spider-Man that I was able to locate. So we're gonna be using Karnak, and you're gonna be able to see what I'm talking about exactly, in case you guys you know, don't want to even attempt this. But yeah, so you always want to go ahead and just try to parry your opponent, parry them upon, you know, hit him a couple of times there, and you know, just wait for that. Of course, he's gonna keep wanting to, you know, parry, hit you. Let Spider-Man parry, you know, hit him about 3 times and then back up, parry, 1, 2, and see, now I'm gonna let him use his SP3, because that, of course, that's gonna waste my time on my True Strike. And now, oh crap, I let him hit me a little, but you know, you see that there's no evades at all. It's beautiful. So of course we have physical resistance, so we take little to no damage from this, and of course that's gonna allow us to do our True Strike again. I'm gonna let him hit me one more time. Actually no, and I'll just let you know that True Strike actually allows me to do about, you know, about 2 combos in that 8.5 seconds upon parrying twice. The first parry allowing you to do your first combo, and the second parry allowing you to do the second one. Of course, there I was playing a little bit foolish and allowed him to take a couple of hits on me, but as you can tell, I'm gonna go ahead and show you another example. It shouldn't have to do it shouldn't allow you to take much damage due to your physical resistance, and this is only for your Awaken ability, of course. The whole fact that that it can shrug off any weaknesses in case you take a damage that you didn't want to take. But yeah, so I'm just doing about 3 hits, and this is the recommendation. Sometimes you just want to do 2 just in case, especially when he has his SP1. Just do 2. And of course he's coming at me now, and I'm gonna try to parry him one more time because I don't want to get hit with while I'm getting my focus. So yeah, right here I was able to intercept beautifully. I'm gonna let him do that, and I'm just gonna take about 2 hits there, just to build up my SP1 again. This is kind of what you want to do. Just go ahead and be taking out these Spider-Mans like that, and it's great. It'll I should have done 3 there. I'm just gonna do like 2 there. And of course, you can see what I'm talking about. It's amazing. He rarely did any damage to me, and of course, the ones that you'd be expecting on Alliance Quest and Alliance were a lot more beefier. So just take in mind, I'm gonna show you one more time because this is a Spider-Man killer. It is destructive. It's beautiful. It's just enormous. So let's go ahead and try it one more time, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's just beautiful. It's just I can't believe it. So and in this moment is exactly when I realized I fucked up. He took damage. You see? So of course you saw that that armor break there. That's another one of those debuffs that that I was talking about, that are able to expire a little bit faster. So I'm gonna let him just do the SP1, and I took almost little to no damage, and I take advantage of that. So I'm gonna be able to intercept here. I love the interceptions there. He's probably gonna want to use his oh, he didn't, and of course I hope he does come in, and I'm gonna let him do that, do a couple of those, and up yeet, and yeet. So of course in places where this will be very difficult to do, I will tell you that much, will be against places where you cannot debuff this character. So I mean, yeah, to those places it's a lot more difficult. I think I would recommend you guys to do maybe 2 hits or 1 hit at a time, back up, intercept once, and try to build up to your SP3 in those instances, because that will be a very difficult battle. But yeah, just want to go ahead and end this video by letting you know how intense this character could be in the right position or in the right matchups there. Like I said, I love the fact that he gets a 2% disadvantage on or this 2% reduction on the class disadvantage upon every 5 seconds. That's it's one of those underrated abilities and very specific to my boy Karnak here. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, just take a look of also his synergy bonuses. Of course, family with your boy Black Bolt, and other block proficiencies and stuff like that. Not really not recommending you guys to put with any perfect block chance. That's not a thing to me. But yeah, if you want to pair him up with Magneto, I think that's pretty good. Of course, the higher the critical rating, the better chances you have to crit your opponent. But anyways, alrighty, so that brings us to the end of this episode. I would like to end this one by saying thank you for all the consistent support many of you have demonstrated through these videos. You people are golden. But other than that, if you enjoyed this video, do let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to help me sharing this video with your mates, will do me a solid. Thanks, and if you didn't know, now you know. You like how I use that one for the outro, huh? Yeah, it's a good one.